Hello, today we have another handful of pictures of LEGO 2021 sets, this time from the Star Wars line. I wanted to take a look at them and share my thoughts about them. I'm going to start with this relatively large one, the most expensive of them, the most interesting in my opinion of them. That's certainly debatable, but to me, yeah, definitely the most interesting, the new X-Wing. Now, we've known for a while that the new X-Wing was going to be $50, 50. I was worried that they might go too far in the 5 plus direction. They did that 5 plus X-Wing to get a nice cheap one, which was it was okay, but still it was very, you could say, dumbed down, and didn't have quite the proportions that you would want. I feel like you can do decent at a small size, but what they've done here, what they've actually done with the official set that now I can finally look at after holding my breath for quite some time, this is good. This is so similar in overall appearance and like level of detail and how nice it is, how well finished it is to the most recent ones that they've done. Think about it. The last Poe Dameron's X-Wing sequel trilogy X-Wing was $90 US. The last original trilogy one was $80 US, just what was it, a year or two ago. And this is $50 US. That is a dramatic difference from 90 down to 50. So it really feels like LEGO has done exactly what so many of us have asked for here, and certainly I personally have asked for quite many times. Like, stop making every single thing bigger and bigger, and either bigger or more complex. Just adding tons and tons of tiny pieces to where you end up having to pay $90 US, right? It's approaching $100 US for just an X-Wing, which should be just a basic thing that is just core to the whole Star Wars fandom experience. So here they've given us one at $50, and it actually looks good. It looks finished. It looks complete. It has that nice canopy piece that is printed. I like that. You got greebling on this, nice level of detail. You got the S foils that come nicely close together. It still has a mechanism built in. Look at that. Single button mechanism to operate all 4 S foils together. I thought that at this price they were going to have just hinges like the old school, the old one from '99. It's got the astromech in the correct position, shoulders facing forward rather than all turned to the side like this. It's going to have some stickers in it, yes. Oh yeah, also the cannons, right? Like, you got some length there. I think that this section here is too long. I wish that they had added maybe another one of these candle pieces in instead, and then used a shorter, was a 4-long bar piece, a standard lightsaber blade length of piece instead. I might experiment with that a little bit once I get my own one of these, but overall, it's a completely different design than they've used before, but it does use a similar design philosophy to the last ones that they've done for a number of years, and I'm just happy with it. It's that simple. It's $40 cheaper, and it's still good. And it comes with 4 figures, if you consider R2-D2 to be a figure. Luke Skywalker, of course, Princess Leia, General Dodonna, who has one of the funniest human character names, in my opinion, in the Star Wars universe, and then R2-D2. I'm not going to take the time to look and see if that's a microscopic variation on ones that they've done before. But overall, I'm happy with this. And then to go against that, okay, a new TIE Fighter. So this is $40. Compare that, interestingly, to the Sith Dorito fighter, right, from the Rise of Skywalker, which had its part count was very close to this. It was a little bit larger in its overall, completed form, I think, but it was $70. So this is $40, going from $70 to $40, and I think the last regular TIE Fighter we got was also $70. I think that was the one from the Solo movie. It was 70 or 80? I think it was 70. And also going back to the First Order TIE Fighter. So here again, they've gone down, not as much in the the part count, but in the price dramatically. And the size has also been brought down. It looks to me, I'm not positive about this. No, actually, I was wrong. I thought that this was using the 5 Plus piece here, but it's using a different version of a specialized wing piece. This is an interesting piece. This actually could be used for a lot of things, making easy suspended platforms and stuff. Like that could be a useful part, even though it is a specialized piece. But this allows them to get a solid yet disconnectable wing connection there, wing, solar, radiator, panel, connection, without using 500 pieces in this little area there. They still got the cockpit that can open up, right? Opens to the front, opens on the top. Got a little bit of detail inside of there as well. These are little prints on the sides, combination of tiled and studded areas through here. It's able to shoot, and they've got the green, the bright green spring-loaded bolts here, so that hopefully people won't complain as much. But of course, that has the effect of having the little green glowy bits on the front. So the bolts themselves are the correct color for the Empire's standard blasters, but when they're not in use, then you get the green glow on the front compared to the red, which is why they've used red so many times in the past for these. They wanted it to look good when it's on display. So either way, people complain about it, but maybe there will be less complaints about this. Comes with a TIE Fighter pilot, and I love my TIE Fighter pilots just in general. Some of my favorite looking characters in the universe, especially original trilogy. And NIL-8 is an Imperial Protocol droid, good one to get. And then the Blue Harvest Family Guy style Stormtrooper, right? The current one, just what they do with the dual molded headgear piece, which looks a little bit funky, even though it's gone for realism. Objectively, still, come on. Swole head. He's got the swole head. One other picture of that. Yeah, nothing else really to see here. Okay. Right. The Mandalorian. Finally, The Mandalorian, and I'm glad that they waited so that there were no spoilers in the reveal of this. I think they did a really good job with this one. I think they've been managing the Mandalorian sub-theme pretty well. Finally, we get a Mandalorian set with the Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, in his full Beskar armor. So this is Trouble on Tatooine. This came out after the episode that, and a fair amount of time after the episode, like not overnight. So they gave people enough time, people who are watching the show, enough time to not be spoiled by this. And this one is just $30 for 276 pieces. And this one looks pretty nice to me. Again, first time to get the Mando himself with his full Beskar armor. There's a better look at that. The helmet, I don't know why, there's something a little bit off to me about the helmet. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I feel is missing here. Is this section here too wide or something? I don't know. Just looks a little bit too plain to me. But the torso looks good. Hip printing, leg printing, arm printing. Yes, excellent. So that's all good. Of course, comes with, don't call him Baby Yoda. It's the child or kid. Not the best masking job here. Graphic guy or girl, whoever did that. Anyway, and then it also comes with another Tusken Raider with his Bantha toothpick, right? Bantha dental tool. Canonical, 100% canonical, right? It's forever. That is what a gaffy stick is from now on, period, paragraph, end of story. You cannot change it. It's canonical. It's in the show. So this comes with, is that a swoop bike? A speeder? I'm going to call it a swoop bike because it looks like a swoop bike to me. Some type of swoop bike. There have been multiple designs of them, but lots of detailing on this, lots of greebling, lots of detail for the sake of detail. That looks pretty good. And it's not too huge. Sometimes they make these things way too big, but this is actually scaled, I think, decently well. The premise of the set is like an anti-spoiler thing. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for folks who have watched The Mandalorian for this sort of thing to be going on, but that's okay, Right, that's perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Sometimes folks get a little bit too picky about that and like, oh, this is wrong. This whole set is wrong. No, it's fine. Everything that's in here is fine. It's just the setup of the photos are an alternate dimension, right? You got half of a Tusken Raider camp hut here. It's interesting the way that this folds up. So it looks like it can fold up into a semicircle. So if you get 2 of this set, you can actually detach the center part here. It's only attached right there. So you can take that off. If you got 2 of this set, I believe you can make a full hut, although there would be a gap in the side. That's too bad. Would have been nice if you could actually complete it all the way, but you can get pretty close to filling up that whole circumference. A little bit more detail in here than there really needs to be, so that's cool. And then this is one of those Tusken ballistas. Now, I'm glad that they included the 2x2 brick piece underneath here, because that just makes this a lot easier to play with, a lot easier to pose. Even just in your initial build, when you want to set these angles of these legs properly, you just put the thing down on the ground, push the feet themselves down onto the ground, get them flat, and then you're done. You don't have to worry about, like, is this one right? Is this one right? It's just a nice little convenience thing. And this has more detail than it needs. The proportions, I think, are pretty. I have a better look at that. Not really. This is probably the best. Sorry, not this one. That's probably the best image of it. The proportions are not bad, and the scaling is not bad. Looks like you can actually aim it as well. That's kind of cool. And you got the silver colored bolt for the spring-loaded shooter. A better look, slightly better look at this closed up. So yeah, you do get gaps all the way around. So I think if you did get 2 of this set, you put 2 of these together, you'd probably have similar gaps all the way around, including at the sides there. It would be a little bit oblong though. But this is nice. Mando fans are going to love this. If nothing else for the figure, but the rest of it I think is all pertinent and can live beyond just that one episode as well. This stuff is good for the Star Wars universe in general. And then finally, a microfighter. Yet another Millennium Falcon microfighter. Microfighter is a microfighter. Still $10. Thankfully, they've not increased the price. 101 pieces. That's a very familiar looking number. I feel like at least one of the other microfighters had that same part count. But $10 still comes with a figure, a desirable figure, and the build is fine. I like that printed piece. I want to use that for something. It's at some point something custom. I didn't go back to compare this to previous versions or anything, but I think it's pretty nice. I mean, it's fine for what it is, right? There's nothing fantastic about this. It's just a little chibi set, and it's fine. And it's $10, and you get an actual Han Solo. Good. This also shows us the Tauntaun versus Imperial Walker set, so you can see that officially here. I appreciate the sides of the Walker here. Comes with the driver as well, and yeah, that's cool. I do wish that the Tauntaun had some articulatable legs, but he can move his arm hands, and the tail looks like it's probably also on a. I don't know if that's gonna be on a ball joint or if it's just on a hinge. But the beak, it looks like a beak to me, of like a puffin or a parrot or a finch or something. Like it looks like a beak rather than a snout. So that's a little bit off to me. But otherwise, you get a couple of figures, and this is going to be, I believe, a $20 set, which I think is not going to be the greatest value here. I think these are a little bit better, the one-offs, but yeah. Okay, so we ended up looking at 5 sets instead of 4. Cool. Let me know what you think. I personally think that this is good for all Mando fans in general. I think that making smaller sets that still look good, that still accomplish everything that's needed to allow more people in the regular market, the standard market, to get stuff that they want is good. And I'm especially happy about this X-Wing, because I was worried that it was going to look too plain or be too simplified, but it is not. It is right. cannons need just a little bit of adjustment, in my personal opinion. But otherwise, this is what we need. It feels like Lego is listening to its fans, possibly more than ever. Like, they're doing some really, really good things now. And I really appreciate the fact that this year it appears that they are focusing more than they have in a long time on putting out cheaper sets, just stuff at lower price points, in addition to continuing their push into that so-called 18 plus range, right? Which is all sorts of themes, but just more advanced stuff for folks who have all the monies and want all the detail and all the complexity and, you know, the nice, big, complicated builds that you have to sit down and work on for a day. Like, they're still doing that, but they're going back to their regular lines, their core lines, the most popular stuff, and reconsidering some of the things that they're doing there and putting out stuff you can get for just less money. I'm all about that. And it looks like quality is still pretty good. So I'm pretty happy. Let me know what you think about these in the comments, and I'll talk to you again soon.